Hello friends, welcome to your Global History channel. Today with a new video, where we will analyze the chronology of the First World War. Please stay until the end of the video. At the end have a surprise that you will like. World War I was a war that began on July 28, 1914, and ended on November 11, 1918. It involved all the great powers of the world, which were aligned in two opposing sides. On the one hand, the allies of the Triple Entente, France, Great Britain and Russia, and on the other, the central powers of the Triple Alliance, grouping the German, Austro-Hungarian and Italian empires. More than 70 million soldiers, 60 million Europeans, were mobilized, making it one of the largest wars in history. More than 9 million combatants died, many due to the technological advances of the arms industry, which wreaked havoc against an infantry that was used massively and recklessly. The trigger. On June 29, 1914, Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Habsburg, heir to the throne of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, was assassinated in the city of Sarajevo. Austria-Hungary accused Serbia of assassination and declared war on July 28. Russia supported Serbia, Germany supported the Austro-Hungarian Empire, and France supported Russia. Recruitment. In August 1914, the outbreak of war meant that millions of men, conscripts, reservists, regular soldiers, volunteers accustomed to handling weapons, or totally inexperienced, had to go to the front. France and Great Britain expanded their forces by incorporating recruits from their colonies. Aviation. Powered flight was barely 10 years old. Some military commanders did not even see the aviation unit in the war. The first warplanes made reconnaissance flights, observation of enemy lines and guidance of gunners' fire. Artillery. Artillery was the protagonist during the war. A successful bombardment could destroy lines of communication, trenches and enemy lines. The most effective tactic was the curtain of fire. A constant barrage on enemy infantry, gas attacks. They began on April 22, 1915 in Ypres, Belgium by Germany. During the following 3 years, the Germans launched 68,000 tons of gas, and the British and French 51,000. They were gassed 1,200,000 soldiers, of whom 91,198 suffered a terrible death. Machine guns. The infantry advanced on the enemy lines. Armed with rifle and bayonet and loaded with heavy equipment. On the first day of the Battle of the Somme, there were 2 soldiers killed for every meter of ground on a 28 kilometers front. The trenches. At dawn and dusk attacks were more likely. The guard was not lowered even for an instant, and the weapons had to be always loaded. The soldiers remained from 7 to 10 days at the front. The wounded in no man's land were left abandoned, until nighttime when they could be searched for them. Airships. At the beginning, airships flew at a higher altitude than airplanes, and it was almost impossible to shoot them down. They were used to drop bombs. At the end of the war, airplanes could reach them and shoot them down with their incendiary bullets. Battle tanks. Invented by the British, they were used for the first time in September 1917 in the Battle of Cambrai. They crushed the wire fences, broke through the trenches and served as a shield for the infantry. Due to the heat inside, the gases, and the poor ventilation, the crew could get sick and faint. In some occasions, it was so hot that the ammunition exploded. End of the war. At the end of the war, 4 powers, the German, Russian, Austro-Hungarian and Ottoman empires, had been defeated militarily and politically and disappeared. The German and Russian empires lost a great deal of territory, while the Austro-Hungarian and Ottoman empires were completely dissolved. The Triple Entente. France, United Kingdom. Australia, Canada, British India, New Zealand, South Africa, Newfoundland, Russian Empire, Kingdom of Italy, United States of America. Belgium Empire of Japan, Republic of Greece, Republic of Montenegro, Republic of Romania, Republic of Serbia, Portuguese Republic. Powers of the Triple Alliance. Austro-Hungarian Empire, German Empire, Ottoman Empire, Kingdom of Bulgaria. At the outbreak of the war, President Manuel Estrada Cabrera declared the nation's neutrality, despite the fact that German investors controlled a railroad and two electric production companies, including the Electric Company. In April 1917, immediately after the United States declared war on Germany, Estrada Cabrera broke off relations with Germany and offered the United States the use of territorial waters, ports and railroads. The U.S. Treasury Department denied the request for financial assistance requested by Guatemala, due to the neutral character it had manifested. On April 22, 1918, Estrada Cabrera declared war on Germany, and German citizens were placed under surveillance. Their movements were restricted and German propaganda was prohibited. In the economic sphere, concessions were suspended, German properties were seized, including plantations, and those of public utility passed into the hands of the government. Chronology of the Great War. 1882, from this year onwards, two alliances are created because of pensions: the Triple Entente, France, United Kingdom and Russia, and the Triple Alliance, Germany, Austria-Hungary and Italy. This period is known as the Armed Peace. June 28, 1914. The triggering event of the conflict was the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria and his wife, Sophie Chotek, in Sarajevo by a group supporting the unification of Bosnia with Serbia. July 7, 1914. The Austro-Hungarian Empire demanded to investigate the crime on Serbian territory. To this end, it gave an ultimatum to Serbia, which refuses to investigate. July 28, 1914. Austria-Hungary declares war on Serbia. On August 1, Germany declares war on Russia. Germany declares war on France on August 3. August 4, 1914. The German army opens the Western Front by invading Belgium and Luxembourg, with an attack on the city of Liege. August 23, 1914. Japan enters the war on the side of the Allies by occupying German possessions in the Caroline and Mariana Islands. 1915. Two new countries enter the war, Italy on the side of the Allies and Bulgaria on the side of the Central Powers, which with this support defeat and occupy Serbia. February 1915. The Allies attacked the Ottoman Empire with the Battle of Gallipoli to open a direct route and support their Russian allies. 1916. Romania declares war on the Central Empires, but is easily overthrown and occupied by the Germans. February 1917. The Russian Revolution breaks out. Germany occupies Poland, Ukraine, Finland, the Baltic countries and part of Belarus. April 1917. The United States declares war on the Central Empires over the sinking of the Lusitania. 1917. Greece enters the war on the Allied side, July 1918. Allied counteroffensive forces German troops to retreat to the Belgian border. September 1918. Bulgaria surrenders and in October the Turks surrender. November 11, 1918. The inexorable advance of the Allies convinced the Germans that defeat was inevitable, and they were forced to negotiate the terms of an armistice. The war ends. Click on the link in the description of this video to get your free self-help book. Thank you for watching this video. See you again.